Hello and welcome to Movie Phone. Brought to you by the Dallas Morning News and 106.1 Kiss FM. Yeah. You remember that?
That's pretty good.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, party people?
We are live.
It's a good day in the neighborhood. I need some coffee. Man. I need some coffee. I
love coffee.
Yeah, I need some coffee. Bad. Oh, let's introduce ourselves. That'd be polite.
Let's do it.
I'm Casey. I'm one of your hosts.
I'm Kadimah. I am also one of your hosts.
Yes, today we have a fun topic for you guys. We are talking about some of our favorite strength movements, why they're our favorites, and why they should be your favorites too.
Man.
Yeah. What?
I'm a Debbie Downer here.
Why?
I don't like any of these.
Oh, well, I hate to break it to you that these are actually all of this.
Oh, wait. These are strength movements that we like because they're good for you, not because we like them.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, they're not like the real sexy fun ones, but they're like like generally going to be the best bang for your buck.
For sure. I'm on the same page with you now. But if you're like, these are our favorite movements to lift, I'm like, I hate all of these.
Oh my gosh.
I like none of them. None of them.
Okay, we're going to make it through this. We are going to totally make it through this.
We're ready. I'm ready now. Now I could be all enthusiastic because it's not about my personal preferences. This is great.
So bench press, we'll start there. Anytime I go into a gym, or let's say prior to being so far in the matrix, anytime I'll go into a gym, like that'd be the first thing that I'm checking out. Like, oh, who's on the bench press? Like, I want to see, like, I'm like, okay, like that guy probably works out, oh gosh, like, and at that point in time, I didn't really know what I was doing anyways. So I just kind of like check out, oh, they're lifting a barbell like that. They seem like they know what they're doing. That was kind of my mindset of watching somebody do bench press. Or they were like a total bro, like they were jacked, they were huge. Didn't really see a lot of ladies doing bench press. If they did, it was like it was maybe the bar, or like the little weights on each side. But personally, when I started doing bench press, I was not a fan because I think primarily because I sucked at it. But over time, as I've gotten stronger in that lift, and it's kind of earned more respect with me. I like it because, like in a nice way to say it, like ladies, it's going to make your chest be a little tighter. That's awesome. Why do you like bench press?
I don't, but I find purpose and strength in this because this is a foundational movement in which a plane that we try to achieve balance in all these different areas, and bench press is one of those, right? You don't neglect this area. One of the things that I think for most people, and I would agree with what she's saying, is, you're kind of scoping in. Most people feel comfortable doing a bench press, even if they don't lift on a regular basis, because it's relatively easy to perform. Now, when you're getting into the technical aspects and let's say you're powerlifting or whatever, there are way more technical things and nuances to every single one of these lifts. However, it is one of the relatively easier ones to perform. So most people do some variation of it, whether it's a machine or dumbbells or a traditional barbell. They do some variation of it. Now, there are a couple things particularly for guys, if you're 14 years old and you're watching this, go to school, okay? But I remember being 14 to 16, and this was like the lift. I still have an older guy at church who asks me every 2 weeks, how much do I bench press now?
It's
every
like
single time.
Yeah.
He goes, man, you're looking huge. How much you bench press? I go, Frank, same story. I don't really.
Frank.
His name is Frank too.
That is
And he's
I
like,
freaking love
to
it.
all you Franks
I go-
out there, don't be offended.
I
Listen,
go, Frank,
Frank.
you know, I honestly don't keep track of that, you know, because it's just not as important. You know, I just lift and I'm probably getting stronger, but I have really no idea. And it disappoints him every single time because he's like, what, 350, 400, 475? Like,
Do you wear name tags at church?
Yeah.
So you should just put one that says, "I don't know, Frank."
this is funny. I don't know my bench,
Maybe he
Frank.
wants to know if he wants to compare his prime with you right now. You know?
I could tell he was a former bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like a bro.
And he's like 400. Like, oh, I'm like, well, how close are you to me? I'm
Yeah,
not like this.
he asks every single time, and I just go, Frank, I don't really know, man. I go, you know,
One
I've
day
kind
you
of
should be like
focused.
90 pounds.
What I usually say is like, well, Frank, I do bench press, but usually a lot more reps, and I usually focus on total body. So I'll do overhead press or different other things too as well. And he'll be like, oh, okay. And we'll have the same discussion 2 weeks later
Well,
in some capacity.
at least he's he
He's
really
consistent.
he really means it. Like
He's consistent.
Is he
Yeah.
there?
And we know that the compliments are real.
Yeah.
So we'll take that.
I hope Frank watches this.
He doesn't like the internet. Frank's old school cat.
Yeah, he sounds cool.
Yeah, he's old school cat.
He sounds cool. Let's move on. We've got strict press is another movement that you're gonna see. I think the strict press is feels a little bit boring, but it has so many benefits, right? I just like personally movements that are dynamic and difficult because it's challenging. With a strict press, man, it will call you out so fast because it's such pure strength. There is no hiding anything, which I don't really like that. I like to be able to just go like, I want to hide just a little bit and use my legs. You know, like that sounds easier in a nutshell. So, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head on these points, though. There is less room for error technically on this movement, right? If you are 1 inch forward or 1 inch backwards, meaning from the side, if I'm 1 inch forward or 1 inch too far backwards, I'm now hyperextending my back, or I missed the lift completely. So the higher you get in that weight, the more strategic your form has to be. And so this is definitely more technical when you start to think about lifts. Some people wouldn't consider it. Again, this is one of those movements that you see people doing in the gym. They could be doing it relatively right, but not everything as maximum as it could be. You know, so I do actually like this lift a little bit. And I like it from the standpoint of it does challenge you in a different way.
Yeah. And I do, this is a lift though that people tend to think like, oh, I should be going really heavy on this. And then you see this craziness of form break, which if you've ever been coached by me, you'll hear me say, keep your legs tight, squeeze your butt, pretend like somebody's about to hit you in the stomach. You want a nice, strong foundation for this movement. I don't want to be building a house on sand. I want to build a house on a platform of concrete or brick or whatever the Bible says. I think it's brick in the Bible. Rock?
It says
Rock. Yeah. But nowadays it's like concrete, you know, like, all right.
Okay, we're going to move on to cleans. So clean is, I would say, by far one of the most technical, right? One of the most technical. It's total body.
I love it.
I truly like this one for every single person because if you think about this, I think about the clean, and the biggest impact I think about it is in a couple scenarios that we do in life that we really don't consider it, right? You pick up a box off the ground and bring it up to your chest.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Sure.
Right? You put it on the counter in the kitchen. It could have been a box that you got from Costco because you got a bunch of groceries, but you go from that. What's up, Tyler? You go from that position, bring it up to your chest, get it onto the counter, and also moving. Every time you move, right, and you pick up a couch, right, you pick up a couch from that low position, and then you kind of do that, okay, you ready? And you both say you're ready, and then you both lift it up, either to your hip height, or sometimes if you're trying to go over a railing or something else technical,
Sure.
right, you're lifting it up a little higher than that. And that represents the clean. So for me, I love this movement because it's so natural to life, you know, and it's so much carryover from that.
And
It's fun.
To just add on to those examples, I think of like people picking up their kids or their grandkids or the dog or whatever. You know, you pick them up, you scoop them up, you put it to your shoulders. It's a very practical movement. And it also, when taught properly, it really starts making you think about how you're doing those things outside of the gym and just kind of correlating, corresponding, whatever, them to each other, like relating them to each other. Another cool thing about the clean is that it increases the weight you can lift on basically all other movements. It is such a power lift, right? Your clean goes up, so do pretty much all of your other lifts. Maybe not your strict press, but pretty much all of your other lifts are going to go up at the same time. Tyler, are you on Instagram and Facebook? Like, are we on your computer and your phone? I feel special. I'm pretty sure we are on both, which is very exciting.
Make sure he's on the IG.
Oh, he's on here too.
Yeah. So for a lot of athletes, you know, we'll train power cleans. It's going to increase their vertical.
What about Giacomo?
But it also is great because it is technical. So we're working on so many different varieties and variabilities all at the same time. You've got balance, stability, coordination, mobility, all, you know, and just grit, man. It kind of just feels good to lift up the bar off the floor. Right?
That's honestly one of the cool things about that coordination is you learn how to transfer power. So, and there's no real, like, some people say, well, why do I need that as a soccer mom or etc.? Of course you need it. Everyone needs it because the coordination you use is the coordination you keep. If you stop doing it, you stop having it. This is one of those scenarios and things like, and we're going to get to squat here later on, but I think about this and I go, as we get older, many times you see people do little shortcut things like pull themselves up off the couch, right? And they do little shortcut things and cleans and different variations of these movements that we're going to be discussing today. Take that away. And so you get used to being more independent. The thing is that we don't just get older and then things stop. We stop moving. And that's why we end up with these scenarios and situations where we end up less independent. Cleans help us become more dependent because it helps us. We have to think about so many dynamic things, our body and time and space at the same time. Love this movement because of the coordination. I love it when people who have never done it are able to get it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Your mom that's never lifted a weight, never lifted a barbell, she's clean, she's doing cleans, she's doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's really a great tool when you can finally make the mind muscle connection and you feel the pieces that are within that singular movement, but there's all these different parts of it. It's like a sandwich, right? It's like a wonderful sandwich.
I love some sandwiches.
There's all these different layers that happen, but they happen so quickly that it's very difficult to feel all these pieces at first. But after time and repetition, after reps, right? After you repeat and do it over and over again, you're able to go, oh, I feel the jump shrug. Oh, I feel the high pull. I feel that weightlessness, when I'm supposed to get under the bar. You can start feeling these pieces the longer you go. That being said, you actually have to be paying attention while you're lifting. You can't be like off in la la land and just letting your body go. You will eventually kind of get to that point though. You don't have to think about it. So whenever you start off learning these lifts, it's like, oh my gosh, there's 5,000 things to think about, right? And then eventually your body will just start doing the work for you. Yep. But it's ingraining this muscle memory. So if we're practicing it wrong, we're going to keep doing it wrong. That's why you need another reason why you need a coach, why you need somebody to just say, hey, will you check, am I pulling too early? Am I opening my hips all the way? Am I squeezing my quads? Is my butt going back? Like there's all these little things that can help you to just be a little bit of a better mover. And if we get lazy or if we're not thinking as much as time goes on, then some of those things, they just fail to stay with us. Let's move on.
The deadlift.
Yeah.
Pure body strength, big lift. Typically the lift that you can lift the most weight with. If there's any movement that I love or love with some question marks here,
I was like,
it's the deadlift. It's a gut check every time, especially if you're doing heavy repetitions for heavy sets. I love the body awareness that it creates, because you learn how to feel where your position is, and if that's a good position or a bad position, and it carries over so quickly. I get so many stories about people who have learned deadlifts and they're like, I was working in the garden and this time when I lifted the flower pot, it didn't hurt. Or I was doing mulch and man, I could do it all day. And it sounds like almost hokey to hear those things, but it is true. We do it all the time. Every time you pick up your keys off the floor, socks, whatever else is on the floor, you're doing deadlift, right? And oftentimes because of how light the weight is, we're doing it very, very incorrectly. So this completely makes you aware of your positioning and how you're to perform it, how you are to do it. And for that reason, I love the lift, and I love the lift for people because they see drastic improvements in them, and I think this is one of those lifts that keeps them going.
Yeah, a couple of more things on there. Like, I think something that's really cool about the deadlift is it's like really the first lift that we teach where you have to keep the bar really close to your body, and I think that translates over into so many things that we do when we pick stuff up off the floor. And I mean, how many people have you heard, oh, I threw my back out, oh, I hurt my back picking something up off the floor, silly, or I bent down funny. It's like these weird little things, but because they're not aware of where their body is, even if it's just the body weight, obviously doing lifting and strengthening those muscles over time is just going to make that better. You might be able to get into a funky position and be okay whenever you have more muscle and more strength than someone who doesn't have that. But still, the mental awareness, I think, is just magnificent.
Yeah, the fact is that 80% of people who have a back injury, it comes from either this sagittal plane, that's the technical term for basically the front of our body, or when we're twisting. And so I think about when we're twisting is you're moving stuff and you're twisting. Deadlifts and these various movements help to prevent those things because they put you in a position where you actually have to perform them. So again, you use it or you lose it. So you could probably go down there, but if you did that 15 to 20 times that day and you haven't been doing that type of lifting, you wake up excruciatingly sore and you're worried about your back. And then, when we talk about awareness, we always try to teach people that they're supposed to be feeling their hamstrings and their glutes.
Yes.
Right? Many times there's a muscle called the psoas that does the same movement or mimics the same movement, but doesn't show. But you can't, you don't see that muscle. So they're like, my back hurts, and they're hitting the outside and it feels good, but they're actually not, able to experience, know where the problem is or cause it, so they end up doing nothing for a week or taking muscle relaxers because that's supposed to fix the problem. Cite your sources.
Yeah, we should have a whole show on muscle relaxers. That's a whole thing. Yeah, so deadlift, love it. Who doesn't want a bigger butt and tighter hamstrings, like backs of your legs? Come on, ladies. I mean, get with it. That is literally like, come on. let's yeah, what are you doing with your life? So if you are only feeling your deadlifts in your quads, like the front of your legs, your thighs, then we probably have a quad dominance issue. So that's just a slight positioning change. So definitely ask your coach or ask somebody to check that out if that's where you're feeling your deadlift, if you're not feeling it in your hamstrings or glutes. Let's move on.
Yeah. Back squat. It's a phenomenal movement too. Not one necessarily that I love, but again, as I kind of emphasized before we even started this, that I don't like any of these movements, but I see the benefit in squat every week, right? Just because I don't like them don't mean I don't do them. But total leg but this can really be considered total body, because when you're lifting a barbell and you have it on your back, Your shoulder blades have to be re-engaged. They have to be pulled back to the center. You're having to hoist. You're not lazily holding the bar on your back. It is an active position. Your core is engaged. Your feet are in position. Your core is being utilized on the way down, on the way up. Hamstrings, glutes, quads, depending on how low you go, which will show the activation of each piece of the movement. Taxes your breathing. I mean, it's a gut check. It is a gut check for sure. The one really cool thing, though, is how much it carries over to everything. You want to walk faster on a regular basis? Back squat. I mean, it literally will increase your walking speed. You get stronger, your actual walking speed will increase because of back squats. Even if you're a short-legged person, you're like, oh, I got short legs, but you don't work out, it's because you don't work out. Okay, you can walk faster. Sorry to put your business out there in the streets like that.
In the streets.
So many awesome things here. What would you like to?
Yeah, so I think this is just another great movement as far as aging, right? We want to be able to get up off of the floor. And I think that CrossFit kind of took this to a whole different extreme in their marketing, right? You probably saw the videos of people getting up off the couch with their water jugs and, squatting their, milk jug and their plant seed or feed or whatever, which was kind of funny whenever it happened. But it was a valid point, right? Like back squatting, it's important as we age to be able to get up. And I think that that's the one thing that starts scaring people as they get into their later years is like, man, I can't quite get up the same as I used to. I can't get up the stairs the same. I can't get off my couch the same, out of my chair. It may take you 1, 2, 3, how many tries? Do you need somebody to come help you up? Like, I don't want to have to worry about that, and I think that back squatting would, I want to be the 90-year-old that's back squatting.
For sure. Sarcopenia, you think about muscle loss that happens after the age of 30, osteoporosis. These type of things can be prevented by just back squatting because you continue to keep the muscle that you need because your body's like, whoa, we're doing some weights. We need to keep this muscle in order to be able to do this. So it's going to keep it. And then your bone density increases as you lift weights. They come hand in hand. So you're building both, getting more muscle and preventing yourself from osteoporosis and other factors.
Yeah.
By continuing to lift.
Cool. So just to piggyback off of back squat, we also have front squat on here. We do some front squatting in here. It, in some senses, requires less mobility, but in some senses requires more. Like the squat might be a little easier because it's of where the weight is, but if you have a horrid front rack position, if your lats are tight, your pecs are tight, then this may be your worst nightmare. Okay.
Yeah, Tyler, they start at 30.
Oh gosh, here we go.
That's where they report it. Starts at 30.
Here we go. Yeah, so love the front squat because it transfers over into again a lot of other things and a lot of other lifts like the clean or the squat clean. Those are all going to be increased. But if you do have that tight front rack position, it's tough.
Personally attacked right now.
The one cool thing about
victimized.
this that I like about this movement as well is you can't really cheat it.
No.
And so a back squat, and this is, we're getting into the reads a little bit, but I think it is important to emphasize why we have two different variations of squats in here. The front squat will show you a true total strength because you have to be more upright to perform. A back squat, however, I can do it with an angled back here, here, here. I mean, even here, right? And still be a back squat. So in many ways, it can or cannot, depending on your anatomical position. Casey has a great back squat position, high elbows, flexible, years of gymnastics. Did I say back squat?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Keep going.
So her
Keep
front
telling me
squat
how
is
awesome I am.
really, it's really, really good. And because of the position, she's able to get in and then able to push out of that position, right? It's harder for those who have a tighter front rack position. When I first started doing CrossFit or functional fitness exercise in general, my front squat was out here like this. I mean, it was out here, and it was 245. I mean, I gritted. I was like,
Like all low back, just tore up,
you
tore up from the floor
yeah.
up.
So, like beginning these movements, and as I've learned to get those lats and triceps and etc. and pecs more flexible, I've been able to increase the weight and do more weight in a better position and feel the movement how it's supposed to feel. Because when you don't have that flexibility, oh boy,
It feels way different.
it's terrible.
way different. Like the
terrible.
low back is just it's rough. But I do like, from a strength standpoint, if you are in that position, you don't have that front rack mobility, the crossover, which is still not the exact same.
Right.
It's not.
It's not.
It's
It just
harder.
doesn't require the same amount of core. It's different.
Yeah, but like the straps, if you've never used the straps on the bar, that will give you a better analysis of what it feels like to actually be holding that bar in the front rack. The straps are the closest thing.
Yep.
They feel very, very similar to being in a full front rack position where the bar is resting on your body rather than in your hands. So a fan of that if you're utilizing it for strength. Last but not least, the bent over row. Any sort of rowing, really. I mean, we said bent over row because we perform that strength cycle, but we do a lot of pressing, pushing, pressing. So anything that we can do to get some pulling, right? That is clutch. I mean, you see lifters walk around, they're like this.
Bros.
Hey, sup? Like, your shoulder's supposed to be in front of your body, right? No. Like, it's supposed to be back there. Yeah. They're not just like, oh, they started lifting. It's like because they're doing all this pressing, all this pushing, right? So they're getting tight right here. So pulling is going to help open that up, creates a better posture. It feels really good on your neck and your back, and if your posture is a little bit better. So increasing those back muscles, like rear delt, shoulders, rhomboids, all of it. It just
Lats,
it feels
you name it.
lats, yeah. Lats for days.
What's also really cool about the bent over row, when I think about it, is the position that you're in. And if anybody's ever performed a bent over row, you're basically horizontal. So your chest is horizontal, legs are almost straight. They have a little bend in them. As I'm pulling the bar in this position, right, this mimics, again, a lot of positions that we do in real life, right? We pick up a box off the ground from that position, then stand up, right? We don't like necessarily all the time pick up the box, completely keep our arms locked out, then stand up and move. We oftentimes pick it up, pull it here, stand up. And you're doing so many dynamic things at once. You have to hold your core together, hamstrings, glutes, coordinate all that, and then pull the bar to your chest. So love it because of the coordination, and it keeps you in check. Very similar to an overhead press, where you have to keep your check your ego at the door. You can easily bro rep it, or
heave.
where you're heaving the weight into your chest and not getting anything out of the movement. So love this movement because of that. These are all movements that we cycle throughout the year, and we test in a trimester. So 3 times a year, we test these strength-oriented movements, and we keep them in a cycle that kind of ever-growingly. So people are able to, as they come consistently, you're able to see increases in these movements, and we call it test week. One of our favorite weeks of the year, for sure. Lots of fun.
It's a party.
Yeah, it actually is a party.
Yeah, it's a party.
Yeah, it's a great time.
We have a super time.
Is there anything else you can think about that movement?
No, do more pulling.
Yes, for sure.
Have better posture. Want better
Absolutely.
posture?
Lifting is
Do you
important.
sit at a computer? Do you drive in your car a lot?
95% of the world.
Are you on your phone all day?
I swear.
You should feel victimized right now. I look over, she's like,
With her neck down, going.
yeah, like, oh man, it breaks my heart. If you have kids, and your kids are on their phone, like, get them in the habit right now. Be like, lift up your phone. Lift up your phone. I have my kid. I'm like, lift it up. He'll be looking like this. I'm like, lift it up, and he'll bring it up here. And it's just this simple, like, little thing. Now I'll look over, and he's like this, like looking at his phone. I'm like, it's working. All that repetition, it's working. So that bad posture, though, that text neck, it is just from being constantly, we're in this position. We were not made to be in this position. I saw probably a 9 or 10-year-old child the other day.
Oh, gosh.
That was like this, walking down the street, and I was like, I mean, I literally wanted to cry. I'm like, this kid has no chance. And it's from being on the dang phone. It is just, I can't. Just hold your phone. Just hold it up. Hold it up so you can't fix that, guys. Like, it's coming. Like, look around. I see it all the time. And it just...
Get her some coffee.
It just really, I have like such a heart for it, especially for these kids, because I'm like, man, they're gonna be jacked. Like,
I have no idea either.
they have no idea. Nobody's telling them that. So whenever you see a stranger, anytime you see them looking down at their phone, just be like, I think you should look up. Look up,
I dare somebody to do that.
please, and then
Record
message
it.
me.
Record it, too.
Look up.
But yeah, these. If you don't have a program where you're incorporating these exercises, I encourage you to look for one where you're getting a barbell, not barbell necessarily barbell centered, but where it includes a barbell as part of your regimented training. There's just too many carryovers to a high quality of life. Of course, we do that here, as we've previously explained. If you're looking to try a class or get a free session, consultation, we do that here.
Hit us up, guys.
But that's it for today, guys. If you like the show and want to pass on some barbell information to maybe a friend who doesn't know the importance of it, or want to encourage someone to kind of get started, this is their offer here today. Contact us, hit us up on dtsof.com or our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our gym number 817-210-4200. There's literally so many different ways to contact us, and we will get the message. We will reach out to you. One of our front desk people will get you set up with that session, and we'll get it scheduled on the calendar. You'll meet with one of our qualified coaches to go through just an hour session, where part of it is us discussing your goals, why you came in, why you had the courage to come in that day. And then the other part is we'll do a little bit of working out. And really that workout is just to see where you are currently, meaning where your flexibility is currently, cardiovascular health is currently, in a nice structured manner. So yeah, that is it for today. Do not. That's my favorite number. All right.
8004. Mike Jones. Okay. I'm done.
All right.
I'm done.
So I'm one of your hosts. I'm Kadimah.
And I am Casey.
This is Freestyle Friday, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
That was pretty hilarious. 281-330-8005. Hit my jump notes on the low. Can't have kids. They might have bad posture. Not worth it.
Not worth the risk.
Yeah, can't risk that.
That's funny.
I'm not
All right.
moving don't worry. But it's doing the same thing I did last time.
What's
I know
that?
in post.